In this video, we're going to be looking at the kidney, its anatomy and physiology, structure and function. Let's do this. What's up, bio nerds? Leslie Samuel here from Interactive Biology TV, where we're making biology fun and we're going a layer deeper. In the last video, we spoke about, I gave an introduction to the urinary system, and we said that the urinary system had some basic functions. Number one, cleaning the blood. Number two, regulate pH. Then regulate blood pressure and some other functions. Now, these are very important functions if you want to maintain homeostasis. You want there to be balance in your internal environment. Balance is very important. Now we're going to take it deeper by looking at the place where most of this stuff is happening, and that's in your kidneys. First, I want to talk about the structure of the kidney. As you can see here, we have different layers in the kidney. The outermost layer is what we see here as the cortex. That is the outer layer, all right? That little part up there, that is the cortex. And that's where some of the processing happens. Next, we have the medulla, and that's more kind of like the middle layer. And that's where some more processing happens. And then we have the pelvis. That region right there is where you're basically collecting the urine and sending it out to via the ureters. You can see there's a ureter right here. That is where the pee is going to go down to the bladder. Now, the kidney is going to be very much involved in filtering and cleaning the blood. You have a lot of blood that's going to the kidney. And here you can see some of the blood supply. In the next video, we're going to dive deeper in the blood supply and look at which vessels are coming to and which vessels are going away from the kidney. This is going to be very important for you to understand the function of the kidneys. But for right now, what I want you to understand is that blood is coming obviously from the heart, and it's getting to your kidneys and it's being cleaned, because we gotta have some clean blood. We gotta have homeostasis. We gotta get the bad stuff out. We gotta get rid of the ammonia and all of that stuff, regulate the pH. You get the point. Now, I want you to get a good idea of how much work the kidney is actually doing. When the heart is working, hopefully your heart is working. If you're watching this video, fortunately, your heart is working. It is pumping blood throughout the body. And the cardiac output, the amount of blood that's leaving the heart at any given time, is about 5.6 liters every single minute. 5.6 liters. Now, of that, about 1.2 liters goes to the kidneys every minute. That's like 20% of all the blood that's coming from the heart is going to the kidneys and is being filtered and going through the processes that we are talking about in the urinary system. So we're filtering about 20% of that blood at any given time. Of that, when we filter the blood, we produce approximately 125 milliliters of filtrate every single minute. Now, I don't know if that sounds like a lot to you, but what that ends up being is 180 liters every single day. Now, can you imagine if all of that had to come out as pee? Fortunately, that doesn't happen. In fact, we produce about 1 liter of urine every single day. Now, some of y'all produce way more urine than that. So if we're making 180 liters of filtrate every day, but only producing 1 liter per day of urine, all of the rest has to be reabsorbed into the body. Reabsorption is what accounts for the difference. Now, I want to make this practical for you. Right here, I have a 5-gallon bottle of water. Now I have 10 gallons, 10 gallon, this 10 gallon. It doesn't have, it's not full of water, but you get the point. Actually, hold on. 15 gallons of water. Okay, this demonstration isn't gonna work. Okay, imagine I have 10 of those 5-gallon bottles of water, and that is approximately how much blood your kidneys are filtering every single day. This is 1 liter. This is one of those pancake things. You fill it with the batter, and then you could squeeze, and then it pours the pancake. It doesn't matter. But this is how much I need to get from that. The difference between this and those 10 bottles is how much reabsorption has to happen in the body. As you can see, it's a lot of filtering and a lot of reabsorption. If you think that's a whole lot, go ahead and hit subscribe and tap that bell notification icon to be notified whenever I create more awesome content. And maybe somehow that's gonna make the process happen better. I don't know. Anyhow, we have one more important concept to cover, and that is the concept of the nephron. Because as you look into the medulla, if you take a very powerful microscope, what you're gonna see is that we have a bunch of these little structures, and these structures are called nephrons. And these are actually the functional units of the kidney. This is where the filtration, the reabsorption, the secretion, and the elimination is actually happening. Right up here in this region, we're gonna start with some filtration happening, and as the filtrate moves through these tubes, you're gonna get some reabsorption, you're gonna get some secretion, and then you're gonna get via this last tube over here, the elimination as it collects then into the ureters, and then it goes down to the bladder, stores up there until that blessed time where you go and you relieve yourself and you do the process of elimination. So the kidney has these amazing functions that helps us to get rid of the bad stuff, hold on to the good stuff. It filters the blood, and the blood supply is what we're going to talk about in the next video.